I recently listened to a podcast on shame, which was pretty validating for me because it confirmed a suspicion that I had had, or at least corroborated that opinion that I had, which was that shame actually is a social phenomenon, predominantly. The predominant information that the feeling of shame provides us is the danger that our actions will cause us to be socially isolated or kind of exiled from our community in some way. It isn't actually, from my point of view, it isn't actually a signal of having made a morally bad decision or that something is morally bad. It's predominantly a signal of, again, fear of social rejection. It signals that danger, which is a good thing. So this is why shame has a positive aspect, because that is a useful signal to be receiving, isn't it? It's simply not to be conflated with something moral, which isn't to say that there can't be overlap between what we're ashamed of and what crosses the boundary of our own personal ethical belief system. But I think it's important to make this distinction because often when we feel shame, it's a very yucky feeling sometimes, and it can really feel like we are wrong and bad. And it can be interpreted in that way. So I'd invite you to play around with this perspective that shame and just reflecting on the ways that you experience shame and just wondering, how would my relationship with this change if I see this as basically a signal, my system signaling to me a little bit of danger of social isolation, but this signal in itself doesn't say anything about whether I'm a good or a bad person or whether this path of action is morally good or bad. It's just a useful signal that I can take into account.